Welcome to another Honda CB200 video, and as you can see, the petrol tank or gas tank is not on the bike. I thought with all the work I've done on the car it'd be good to test the flow on the fuel, and when I did there wasn't any, so it's a bit more of a dig around. And well, firstly, gunked up with rust inside, so got to sort that out. The pepcock is gunky as well, so we've got to sort that out. And through stripping this off to give it a good clean, I found a lovely little hole right down there. That little black dot just in there. So yeah, so let's follow me along as we sort the petrol tank out. So this has already been soaking in fresh vinegar for about 24 or 12 hours, and it's already looking a lot cleaner than it was. Really gunked up, lots of resin, etc. So it's going back in some fresh vinegar now, and then into the ultrasonic. So yeah, I'll show you after it's come out of the ultrasonic vinegar. So yeah, back in a bit. So here's the pepcock after it's come out of vinegar for 12 hours or so, and the ultrasonic cleaner, just giving it a really good scrub and a wash. And so yeah, so now I'm going to give it a wire brush, get rid of all the oxidised aluminium on top. And the stem is cracked right at the very top here, so I need to look at cleaning that and then seeing if I can fix that. The bowl isn't looking too bad. Again, need to give that a good wire brush and a good brush inside. And then we've got the tap, and then the rest of it, the spring unit that goes on here, is being derusted, as well as the cover plate. And then we've got the filter, which looks in reasonable condition. I'll give a bit of a clean, but that looks in reasonable condition. And all the seals, the O-rings, etc. I'll replace. So as you can see, I'm just literally wire brushing this. I need to get a bit more into there. Need to do a bit more on the inside of that. This does have quite an extensive crack all the way up there on that, on both sides, so that's going to be a nightmare to fix. And there's also a crack down here as well, so I need to look at potentially maybe soldering that, or drilling that out and replacing that, or replacing the entire thing. Anyway, I'm going to carry on with this. No point in you watching me do all this kind of thing, and we'll review closer at the end. Back in a bit. Right, there's still a few bits to process on this. That's the little plate, spring plate that holds this in place, and then the cover. That's vinegaring at the moment, so I'll clean that up in a bit. But the bowl's done, looking fairly clean-ish in there, but it's got lots of pitting, lots of corrosion in there. But looking fairly clean. I've cleaned out all the holes, etc. And it's now a case of looking at this main tube. If you don't know how this works, I'll quickly explain. So that's in the off position. Fuel in the tank, and the fuel comes down through this tube and a lower one down in here as well. And so this is the main pipe. This comes down here, and you've got these three holes and this little channel in there. So as the fuel comes down in through this hole, and then by the rotation of this lines it up so that the fuel from that can come through into the in hole, which is this bottom one in here. That comes into the channel through this hole here, fills up the bowl, then goes up through the mesh, through two holes in there, and then out through these to your carburetor. As the fuel drops in the tank and gets below this point here, obviously no fuel is getting to the carbs, so you need to turn it on to reserve So you move it to this position here, and then this allows fuel from this hole, which is this one on the right hand side, to then flow from there into that hole and carry until your tank is empty. So this isn't essential, but if you don't want to be running out of fuel in the middle of nowhere, it's good to have this system. So what I'm going to try and do, I've just checked online and a new one is available, 30 quid plus shipping, or 30 quid plus tax plus shipping. So I thought I'd give it a go, and I'm going to solder this. I'm going to silver solder this, and I've got a crack along here. Let's see if I can zoom you in. So I've got a crack in here, and then I've got a big crack and split all the way up there on both sides. That's forming these two then parts, these two sides of the tube to open up, and another crack on this as well. So I've got a crack this side, a crack this side, and a split here and a split there. So I'm going to get it set up for silver soldering, and I'm going to have a go. Yeah, going to have a go. Right, just about ready to go. So the aim is to zoom you in. So there's a crack along the tube up here and on the opposite side, and then there's a crack which is a split on this side and the opposite side. So I've bound it with wire to hold that closed, etc., and I've fluxed along here. So I'm now going to get ready to heat up. Not sure how clear this will be. Never soldered this kind of material before, but have silver soldered. So let's give it a go. Right, but at the moment I'm classing that as a fail. So I'm going to get this cooled down, cleaned up, and we'll then take a look at what's happened, if anything. So yeah, back in a mo. Right, just finished having a go at soldering this. I've ended up putting some more wires on it, etc. But I've had no luck at all, and in fact actually burnt a small hole through what's left of the tube. So I'm going to get rid of all this wire off here, etc., and class this as being dead, and we'll either look to replace the tube, or we'll look at getting a new pepcock. They're available at the moment that I can see for about 30 quid, so I might just end up just getting a new pepcock. But first, the primary thing that really needs to happen is I need to fix that hole in the tank, and so I'm going to start hunting around for a local establishment that might be able to help me fix the hole in the tank. Well, it's now been a week or so, and I've done quite a bit of investigating around my local area, spoken to a few people, and a bit of progress. So firstly, the hole that I discovered, it's definitely a hole, definitely a hole. And if I argue there are two, so there is this top one up here, and then there's this bottom one down here as well, and there's got quite a large area of corrosion here and digging, pitting into the surface of the steel. The rest of it looks fairly good around here. There's one more area down over here as well, but it doesn't appear to have gone through the tank. So there's that area just there where you might be able to make out sort of the rough texture to the steel. And we've got a screw seized in place from the badge. So I thought what I'll do right now is I'm going to try and get that screw out. So let's get you set up and have a look at the screw. So to deal with this screw that's in here, first I'm going to try and flatten it off, put in a slot into it and try and remove it with a simple screwdriver. So let's see how that goes. So I'm now that I've got my slot cut there, making sure the tank lid is open. We've cleaned out as much of the fuel out of there as possible. I'm going to add some heat now. My aim is to add some heat to the plate around the screw. Okay, that colour change tells me we're getting hot. And as I worried, the head that I've cut has come straight off. No. Right. So what I'm left with now is to cut off, centre punch and drill. That's what I'm left with. So let's do that. Giving it a little brush of some penetrating oil, so that'll do any good. So the next thing is to try and drill as much of it out as I can. So I'm going to try and centre punch it first. There is to get right in the centre. screw isn't very big in there, so I'm just conscious that what I don't want to do is fall through this into the tank underneath. Let's see if I've got something I can slip under here. If I want to go through the screw, I'll hit into this and not the body of the tank, is the hope. So the next task is to make a tool, a square tool that I can then hit into that, hopefully engage with it and then unscrew. Screw removal tool. I haven't really got any sort of hardened metal I can use to do that with. Another method is to use like a punch. Have I got a punch or something? A wee diddy punch, just to see if I can knock some sense into it. Right, all I'm doing is chewing it up. Right, I'm going to need to find a little thing to stick in there and see if we can unscrew it. I mean, worst case scenario, if we can't, then the best thing to do is to drill out as much as we can and then possibly then weld it, or when they're brazing the rest of it, have this hole filled with braze and then re-drill and tap this hole. May be the only way of fixing this, but I'll see what I can do regarding making a little tool, and yeah, we'll look at that in a bit. I'm going to have to think of some other ways of maybe dealing with this. So I'll leave the penetrating oil soaking into that, and it may be a case that I'm left with having to drill it out as much as possible, and then when the tank is brazed, get them to put a weld dot into there, or even a braze thing, and I re-tap it. So yeah, so that's unsuccessful at this stage, but you know, we've still got a lot to do. Right, this is where I think we'll end this video, as it's gone on long enough and it's been full of disappointment. Not really very successful in removing that screw, and also in fixing the fuel tap. So following all of that, I've decided I left the screw for now, and I place an order for a new tap. And in the next video, we'll get to this stage that we're at now, which is a full strip of all the paint and a clean out of the inside, and I'll give you a full download on all of that in the next video. I'm not going to ask you to see if you found that useful. It's been really just full of disappointment, really. But anyway, please give the video a thumbs up if you found it in any way constructive, positive or informative. Do leave your comments below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for further updates as we go along on the rebuild of this bike. But for now, I'll say goodbye until next time. Thanks a lot. Cheers. Bye bye.